Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Strain coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And tonight is my first time trying one of the 1776 MRE, a single meal ration. This is chicken burrito bowl. And this thing is a fatty. It's as fat, or maybe a little fatter than probably the equivalent MRE menu chicken burrito bowl. But from what I've seen, a few of these that have been reviewed on YouTube, these things are loaded. I mean, the person who packed this put extra stuff in it. And as I said before, when I first got these, because this is in a very well-made, sturdy Mylar bag with a gusset at the bottom, I am going to save this bag. I will not use it for trash. I will just use a shopping bag for trash. So I'm going to cut it open with my cheaters just right below the seal. That way, when I reuse this bag, I can still have enough for opening the peelable seal, the Ziploc, later on. See, now I have enough. So for reusing this bag, say if I had to use it to purify water, I had enough that I could grip the sides and open up that peelable seal. This is what I mean by fully loaded. And right off the top, this is a hot sauce. See if I can get it to focus on here. So it's a little packet of hot sauce. I mean, you would think that with chicken burrito bowl. The lemon poppy seed pound cake. It probably took a bit of a hit, but that's okay. All these things are just packed tightly in this bag. Oops, that was upside down. Big Snack Crackers cheddar cheese, otherwise known as Cheez-Its. Let's see, we got James Ortiz, Sunshine Side of Life 77. Mike Crusher, Curious Pete, Ollie Cat, Prepared Life, Doxy Mom, and that's it so far as who's in here. Oh, there's DeCarlos Perry in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Just making sure I'm caught up on the chat. So, if these Cheez-Its are smashed up, that's okay, because we all know we can do something with those. Got the beverage bag, which I will not use, but I keep all these because these are great little storage bags. Got the flameless ration heater. And this is the mil-spec one that you would find in a standard US MRE. There's Carla in the house. And in here is the info card for the baked beans. Oh yeah, the Chipotle Tortillas. These are awesome. Then we have the sleeve, which would go with the chicken burrito bowl pouch. And they always put this stuff, other nutrition stuff on the back side of some of these. Some may have it, some may not. Lemon lime drink for the drinking jar. Standard US MRE spoon. Here is the black beans and barbecue sauce. And this is the chicken burrito bowl. It would be like the filling for the tortillas if you wanted to go that route. And here is yet another hot sauce, so 2 different hot sauces. Cheese spread with jalapenos. Nice. And the last thing that's in this bag is a standard US MRE accessory pack. So in here you get matches, sugar, and type 2 coffee. Haven't had one of these in a hot minute. And the non-dairy creamer. I like it when it's in these packets instead of something like this. Use your wet wipe, the gum, like the peppermint, pat of salt, and the rear roll. So again, I am not going to be using the ration bag for trash. I'm going to be putting the items that I will not use, just put them in there just to get them out of the way. In fact, the coffee, creamer, and sugar packets are going to go right into my foreign MRE mug. You can get these at foreignmre.com. Now, because we got 2 mains here, this will be a little much for the ration heater anyway. So I will boil them and just save the ration heater, just like I'm going to save the beverage bag. And they become part of my emergency supplies of stuff. So again, here are 2 different hot sauces. That's pretty darn cool. I'm going to go ahead and mix up drink mix first, because these things tend to take a long time to dissolve. Here's a look at the powder. And maybe just a tiny bit more water. We'll call that 12 ounces, give or take a milliliter or 3. There's a lot of powder in here. This lemon lime drink is actually my favorite of the standard MRE drinks. They do not leave that nasty residue in the glass. There is an instant type 2. And drop it into sugar. I'll just leave that there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go back through the chat just to see if I missed anyone. There's Sean here. Thanks for dropping in. And it looks like I'm caught up in the chat. Got a few mods in here, so they will take out the trash if I'm too slow to get at it. I don't want to repeat what I did last time. I accidentally booted someone when I was trying to take out a porno dork because my connection is rather slow. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to boil both of these. I will warm the tortillas and the cheese spread. Then I'll come back with the water for the coffee and I'll be right back. I just took the kettle back into the kitchen just to have it out of the way. Shocker 71 in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Coffee's all mixed up. Gotta love some type 2. And I'm going to go ahead and give the lemon lime drink another stir. I'll probably do it again. Let's see how well this lemon poppy seed pound cake held up to the transport and being squeezed in that tightly packed bag. Yep, it took a bit of a hit, but get rid of the oxygen absorber, and it broke, but that's okay. Well, you'll get a look at what it looks like on the inside. So there is the lemon poppy seed pound cake. It's not shiny at all. That's the bottom side. This is the top side. Just falls apart so easily. Those Cheez-Its. Lots of crumbs left in there. So these are, well, a few of the Cheez-Its are intact. Some of these look like they've been toasted a little bit. Spicy tuna rolls is here. Thanks for dropping in. So for those just coming in late, this is a 1776 MRE chicken burrito bowl. And you get a hot side, or will be a hot side, along with the main entree. I have the Chipotle Tortillas just laying on the stove, picking up some residual heat from it, but not touching a burner. I have the jalapeno cheese spread in there as well. And they are beside the burner that the kettle is on, but when I got the water to pour into this coffee instant type 2, that burner got shut off, but there is still enough residual heat there where those can be warmed up. So I'm going to go ahead and take a taste of the coffee. Yeah, good old type 2. Oh yeah, Rachel, that would be killer good with some of the other pound cakes You throw a little bit of Nutella on top of the marble pound cake. Now that would be awesome. I'm going to go ahead and eat one of these Cheez-Its. They are definitely fresh. And the packer put 2 different hot sauces in here. This one I'm familiar with. Chili lime hot sauce. This is actually pretty decent hot sauce. This one I'm not familiar with. I have never seen it. Oop, I got it upside down. So I have never had Texas Pete. So I think this is the one that I'm going to use because I've never had it. I can get that here. I have just never had it, so I'll actually keep that right here. But this one here, I'm going to put into my hot sauce collection. To save for later. Yeah, I bet it would be. It just says peppers. Let's see if I can get this to focus on the ingredients. So it has the ingredients in there, so that's good. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying this since I've never had Texas Pete. And since I do like Tabasco, I don't think this is named after Curious Pete or Pete Reviee down in Australia. Wrong locations. But I'm looking forward to trying it. I am going to go ahead and pick up one of these smaller bits of the pound cake that I've already broken off. Give it a try. It's dry, but the lemon flavor is definitely there. And the poppy seed is definitely present. I mean, you can see the poppy seed all through this thing. So I don't think this is one you would want to eat before taking a certain kind of test, if you know what I mean. Well, I think the hot stuff should be ready, so I am going to go into the kitchen and get those, and I'll be right back. I'm going to slide this over here. So I have everything here. Got a paper towel to dry everything off with. Make it easier to handle them. Instead of going across, ripping the tear notches go along here, but let's make sure I got the, yep. I'm going to go ahead and just cut the end off, make it easier to fill this compartment of the tray. Oops, sorry about that. Keep bumping this dang foam out. Yeah, this is a messy one, so. Now this one has the beans. This one had a little time to cool off. But I'm going to treat it the same way because I will put the beans up here. Beans are coming out a lot easier because they're very saucy. Okay, I will get this out of the way. Put the tray back in frame. With this ridges, you can just pick one and kind of rip it. So I rip it close to the end. That way I have less risk of ripping the tortillas. Pop the oxygen absorber back in there. So here are the tortillas, but they are going to be a bit of a bugger to separate. But because I warmed them, well, this is already starting to split. So I think I'm just going to have to go ahead and just rip the halves like that. Now this is the one that's inside. And I'm just separating the outer tortilla, the other half. So there's that. And this one did remain intact somewhat. So there are the tortillas. So I'm going to put the hot sauce packet over here. Oh yeah, I love good hummus. Adam is here. Thanks for dropping in. There are some hummuses that I have had that have had some very good flavors added to it, like some sun-dried tomato and of course jalapeno. So I'm going to go ahead and give a taste of this first. Yep. Get this thing to focus. There we go. I hope that's focused better. This definitely has the flavor. The beans are soft, but not complete mush. Oop, there we go. Here's a kernel of the corn. It still has a bit of bite to it. There is a good sized piece of the chicken. There is a Latha in the house. Thanks for dropping in. The chicken is finely shredded, but not to the point of like being ground chicken. I'm going to take a drink of my lemon lime. It'll still need a mix later, but that's okay. I'll take a taste of these beans. It's almost a chili sauce, like a beef chili sauce. It almost tastes like a beef gravy, and chili spice is added to it. So there is a bit of the chili flavor, but it tastes like a beef gravy. I'm going to take one of these, this little piece of the tortilla. I'll just go ahead and eat that. These have some real spice to it. So I love these Chipotle tortillas, so I'm very happy to get them. This is what the Texas peas sauce looks like. It definitely tastes like Tabasco, but with a little something extra. So I'm going to put some in the beans. I'm just going to put the whole thing in, because why not? Mix that in. The Texas Pete definitely helps the beans. I'll take another taste of this. There we go. That definitely kicks it up a notch. And one of my cheeses just fell in. We know where that goes. I will open up the cheese spread with jalapenos. That is a cheese spread with the jalapenos. Good stuff. That might be a bit much. Maybe one more bean. Now, if Dempsey were here, this would be a megabyte for him. Yep, this is really good. This is a good combination. Oops, sorry about that. I love blue cheese too, Pete. Oh yeah, I love fajitas anyway. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and mix all this together. Just because I can. Because these flavors all go really well together. You know, this tortilla is going to split, so I could go ahead and rip it. Wyoming is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm doing another megabyte. I almost have to tip my head back because otherwise this might go all down my shirt. The Chipotle Tortillas and jalapeno cheese spread, plus that Texas Pete, that definitely makes this good. Just going for another drink of the lemon lime. Take some of these crumbled Cheez-Its, since some of them wanted to go in there anyway. We'll just add them to the mix, because why not? Get a little crunch in there since everything else in here is so soft. This time I put the cheese on after the filling. A meal like this with all this filling would need more tortillas, or bigger ones. Just going to go back through the chat. Oh well, Carla, maybe you can get your ride back another day. DeCarlos, there are liquors out there that are more potent than that. You get into the stuff like the Everclear. Many years ago, one of my sisters went to a party on her college campus, and she had no idea that the punch was spiked. And it was spiked with Everclear. She only had one glass of it, and that was all it took. She was completely wasted out cold. And she never did that again. She only found out she didn't find out till the next day that she drank one glass of punch that had a lot of Everclear in it. And that was probably the stuff that is probably not as regulated as it is today. Good old type 2. That's my second favorite American ration coffee is the type 2. The type 1 is my top, but you hardly get that these days. I'm going to throw a few more Cheez-It crumbs in there. Just because I can. Grain alcohol, the hardest stuff, since I don't drink alcohol myself for religious reasons, from what I understand, moonshine is the most potent but I could be wrong. But the high-proof alcohols are more than just for drinking, as we all know. You know, I said earlier, you can make tinctures out of them. You can make liniments out of it. A liniment is a topical herbal rub that you use like for massaging, or you can put it on an area of pain, or you can use it to relieve a skin irritation if you use the right herbs in it. When I took an herbalism class several years ago, we were using isopropyl alcohol to make the liniment, but we did not have enough of that on hand to complete the batch so that all of us could have a share of it once we were done. So I looked in the cabinet and I said, there's some vodka here. Will this work? And the teacher said, absolutely. So there was a little bit of vodka left in that bottle. We just emptied the vodka into that liniment to complete that batch. And just like a tincture, you allow the plant matter to steep in that alcohol or whatever carrier liquid you're using for the prescribed amount of time, and then you strain it and you have your liniment that you can use on your skin. And of course, the alcohols can be used to sterilize. I don't know if, for those who like Star Trek, there's an episode of Star Trek Next Generation where the landing party have been down to a planet and there are a bunch of injured people, but the team did not have enough medical supplies and they're kind of stuck down there. They couldn't pull anybody off, beam anybody up to the ship. But the doctor said, look for alcohol, any kind of alcohol that might be in the area. And one of the other crew members is looking to drink, and the doctor said, no, you sterilize. You can use it to clean wounds. So Worf, the Klingon, he grabbed a couple of bottles off of a nearby table, and so they used that. I'm just going back through the chat. Yeah, when you're burning an alcohol type fuel or something like what they use in the UK called methylated spirit, which is a purple liquid, it's a blue flame. Not the same color as a butane or propane flame, but it is a blue flame, if you can even see it at all. And what some do, especially in the daytime, if they have a stick or a leaf, if they try to light the stove, they will hold a stick or a leaf next to it, and if it catches, then they know that the alcohol is lit. I think this stuff needs more cheese. There we go. Now, there are a couple of things that I have used in the alcohol stove. I used the yellow bottle heat that you would normally put in your gas tank as a winter fuel additive. But it's sold all year round. You don't have to wait until winter to buy it. And I even used fingernail polish remover, which has acetone in it. And that stuff is flammable. So I have used that in addition to regular isopropyl alcohol. Now, the fingernail polish remover doesn't burn as hot, I guess, as an alcohol would, but it worked. Yeah, denatured alcohol is probably one of the best fuels, I guess. I do not have it. But maybe in the future I'll get me a can of it. And I recently bought a second bottle of, well, not recently, but several months ago I bought a second bottle of the heat, because I had used up most of my other bottle. During the 2020 Direct Show, I used my homemade alcohol stove to cook some deer meat, and then I fried some carrots after that. Because, you know, I took that meat out of the freezer and I needed to use it, so I cooked up that chunked deer meat on my homemade alcohol stove, and I used that heat. So sometime after that I bought another bottle. And because I have several bottles of the isopropyl alcohol, that's another fuel source. Well, that would be my least resort, because that stuff is sooty. Yeah, you might want to back off of that idea, Pete. We want to keep you around for a while. And I do apologize for not doing much with that laptop, but I'm waiting for the opportunity to get some additional RAM to put in it. And I have batteries on my eBay watch list. I looked on the Crucial website for the RAM, and so I would be able to get it from there. provided they have it in stock when I do decide to attempt to purchase it. But I have several battery listings on my watch list on eBay. So if I miss out on one, I can always keep searching. But I installed the OpenShot video editor that I have used in the past that I like. I installed OBS on it. And I also installed XSplit. I have used XSplit in the past for live streaming. And you can do video editing on it. And I would be able to do StreamYard from it. I'm not even going to attempt to use StreamYard on my phone because my connection is just that crappy. Even though I have Mediacom's top plan. Oops, sorry about that. I have their top internet plan, and sometimes I still have issues, but it is what it is. I'd rather have this than the company that will forever be nameless. Yeah, my desktop computer that I got back in, I think 2015 was a refurb Dell with Windows 10 on it, but it just will not boot up fully. So right now, all it does is just serve as an oversized power bank. Ooh, Mike, maybe you want to go check into that. Put some trail cameras out there. Then you could record anything that might show up, or use a security camera that has a live feed. Yeah, you definitely don't want any freeloaders trying to get into your barn. Ooh, yeah, skunk spray is nasty. We dealt with that many, many years ago when my siblings were kids, and let's put it this way, it took like 6 baths to get rid of that stench. Thanks for dropping in, Rachel. Hope to see you next month. Now, it's the first, let's see. My calendar app on another phone might show when daylight begins. Oh, here it is. Oop, it's almost, there we go. March 13th. That's when we switch. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of these years someone decides to bump it up. But personally, and I've had this feeling for years, we should stop doing the time switch. Leave it at 1. Set it and forget it. That way it doesn't screw with anybody's systems or sleep patterns or all that. And I'm not the only one who has that opinion about it. It's outlived its usefulness. I really wouldn't call it daylight saving anyway, because all it is just a switch. You don't gain anything. You just lose an hour of sleep, and then you get that hour back at the, first weekend in November, first Sunday in November. And some countries do it different than we do. And of course, we have a couple of places here in the U.S. that don't do the switch at all. And I like that. Now, I think Arizona, I could be wrong, but I think Arizona is one state that doesn't do it, and I don't think they do it in Hawaii. Yeah. The tractors and other farm vehicles they have can have super bright light bars and other lights all around them. And some of these vehicles are almost autonomous, where they have a GPS program that will literally guide the machine. And that leaves the operator supposed freedom to handle other functions of it. Thanks for dropping in, Sean. Hope to see you next month. And speaking of Sean's, another Sean, I kept looking for the Ration Museum to go live, but he didn't go live today. I never saw any notifications. I didn't go to the channel to check, but I kept looking for notifications, so I'm just assuming that he didn't go live. One of the other garden or homesteader channels, he is in the process of looking to buy land up in Alaska. Because right now he's in a small space, I think a little bigger than my apartment, but he has ground space that he has access to that he can put pots for some of his plants. Yeah, these cakes are so dry I have to take a drink after each bite. But they're so crumbly that it's really not good for dip, and not that I would dip this one anyway. So I'll just eat it plain like this. But there are some Alaskan channels that I do watch, and some of them have either lived there their whole life or they moved there quite a number of years ago and have adapted to it. And they have made it work. Yeah, this would be very good with a topping on it. I wouldn't pick the cream cheese icing for it. Maybe honey would work, because honey goes great with lemon. Or maybe if you take an icing and mix some lemon juice in it. That would be nice. Well, a lot of people do want to go up to Alaska during the winter to chase the auroras. So if you can catch an aurora, a lot of people like to go after that. I went to high school with a kid who, when he was really young, he spent 2 years up in Alaska because I think his dad was posted there for some reason. I don't know if it's because of a military service or if he just took a 2-year job up there to do a specific task for the company or whatever. But then the family moved down here to Iowa. A lot of photographers will go up there chasing the auroras, and with the camera technology getting better and better, you can get some really, really cool time-lapse shots or just awesome stills. But you have to get out in the middle of nowhere with a good clear area, like say a clearing in a forest or by a lake or a river or a field, where you can go out, no lights whatsoever, and catch it. It would be a bit of a challenge to get used to the light dark cycles up there, especially if you go up in the northern parts of the state. I think north of Anchorage and Nome. There's one channel, I'm not a subscriber to it, but I'll watch their videos. And they live near a town that's actually called North Pole. It's one of those places that, you know, they like to refer to their town as a Christmas town. But that's pretty far north up there in the state. And they do their shopping, because they go in frequently to stores. They buy in bulk. Not just to prep, because they are preppers, but to just everyday, daily user stuff. They buy a large amount at one time, because it takes a while to get into the nearest town that has the stores they want to go to, like if they want to go to Costco or Sam's Club. But they have done some neat videos up there, especially, in the summer when the sun doesn't go down, and in the winter when there's no sun at all. Yeah, it would be something that you would have to adjust to. It would be like, say, a Pete from Australia coming up here, because the seasons are reversed. Right now, it's starting to cool down for their winter, and we are starting on the path to spring up here. So for those that celebrate Christmas, they're doing it in the hottest part of the year down there. So if they want any white stuff, they got to manufacture it or just go totally fake. Oh yeah, Alaska crab legs. We had those in that seafood boil last year. on Mother's Day. And oh boy, were those good. Yeah, you would have to really have the appropriate layers to wear up there. Say in the northern territories of Canada, you know, the top end of Alaska, Greenland, and Siberia. You would have to really know how to layer it up and watch your skin exposure. I'm still going back for those Cheez-It crumbs because that's all I got left other than a few cake crumbs. But I would love to go up there to fish. I suck at fishing, but I would love to go up there to fish. I'd love to fish in Canada. I guess for the same reason. Fishing is probably very good up there. And I would get to go after fishes that I can't get down here. And I would definitely get to see scenery that would make Iowa look like a boring sheet of paper. But travel just is a little too difficult. I can't spare the coin to drop on a plane ticket. And because I don't drive, someone would have to pick me up at the airport to take me to my final destination. Well, that's pretty darn good if you can hook a bluefin and pull it in. Well, that's pretty cool. I can get walleyes down here, but don't have northern pike. We got smallmouth, largemouth, bass. You got sunfish, bluegill, the blue catfish, channel catfish, bullheads, got walleye, got brim, got carp. Although no one in my family wants to mess with carp. They can't stand messing with carp because they have a slime on their skin. But I'll tell you, when you catch a carp, you know you got a fighter. Because they will make you work for it. We also have crappie down here. When I was down in Arkansas years ago, our whole family was fishing on Lake Ouachita, and my dad caught a 30-pound drum. I'm surprised his rod didn't break. And he pulled that bugger. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. I got interrupted. Took me a few seconds to reconnect. But anyway, my dad caught that 30-pound drum, and that one single fish fed all of us. Plus, we had some leftover. But others that were in there suggested that my dad should have submitted it for the lake record, but we had other plans for that fish. But I never did look into what the record drum for Lake Ouachita was. And I don't know if it had been broken since we were down there or what, but it would be interesting to find out. That we filleted that drum and then fried it in the same way that we do, we usually like to do catfish. And my dad caught a turtle in that same trip. But we had to take care of that turtle because it was hooked in such a way that it would not have lasted long anyway had we released it. So that became turtle stew. You know, we didn't have a whole lot of money, so we made do with what we had, and we got We got some meals out of that big old drum and that turtle. Well, I'm just going back through the chat, seeing if I missed anything. Oh, I must have missed a super chat. I had no idea who dropped that super chat. That must have been either while I was in the kitchen or while I was looking away, putting something into my trash bag. So whoever dropped that super chat, thanks for doing that. That's much appreciated. Oh, yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah, they're very good about supporting others in the community. And so we turn around and support them by buying stuff from them when we can. Oh, that's okay, Aletha. You know, I got disconnected for a few seconds and it took me a little bit of extra time to reconnect. But for those, I don't do it often, but once in a while I'll explain how a super chat works for anyone who has never seen it before, or they see this at $10 or whatever it may be pop up and comment in some color. You know, that's a way that someone can support the channel. You know, whenever they're able to. I do have the join thing, but you know, if someone can't do it, I'm okay with that. Just like the Patreon. I have a Patreon, but it's just there in case someone wants to do it. And if they don't, they don't, you know. I just leave it as an option. Yeah, Aletha, I haven't upped the bird since 1988 when I was up here in Iowa and my brother was still down in Arkansas because he's 4 years younger than me. So he finished high school down in Arkansas, and I and my sister next to me in age were in college. And so in '88, my brother graduated from high school. So someone bought me a plane ticket so I could fly down there because no one was available to drive me down there. Either they just didn't have the time or didn't have a vehicle or what. But anyway, so I flew down there. And that was the last time I hopped a bird. And I had to change planes and airlines in St. Louis. I took Delta from... Now, actually, I think it was United from Des Moines to St. Louis. And then I changed airlines to TWA, which was in existence back then. And so someone at the St. Louis airport had this half-cocked idea that I needed a wheelchair. And I had very little time to get to my gate, so I basically, said, which way do I go to get to this gate? And I said, I gotta run so I don't miss my flight. So someone pointed out the direction. I just took off running. I don't know who had this half-cocked idea that I needed a wheelchair, so I just took off running. I get there, they get everybody in the plane, and then they have us sit there in the plane for an hour while a ground crew changes the front tires on the landing gear. With a fully loaded plane, they did that. So that means we got into Little Rock an hour late, and because it was not all that long after another TWA flight had got hijacked, my parents were thinking that my flight got hijacked. That's okay, Letha. Have a good night. See you next month. I said, no, it didn't get hijacked. We just had to wait an hour in the plane while the ground crew changed some tires. You think they would have done that before loading the plane, or had everybody get out and then change the tires so the plane wouldn't be so heavy to jack up to change the tires? But no, they had to get stupid. But oh well, that was way back in '88. I'm sure they wouldn't do anything stupid like that now. TWA got a bunch of complaints about that. Wow. Is that Fort Wayne, Indiana? That is not all that far from me and Aletha. Well, James, if I would have gone to Cuba, I would have fit right in because I can speak Spanish. Even though Cubans talk extremely fast, and they would tend to drop off a last syllable or not fully pronounce it. But, Spanish, I would have fit right in. But anyway, as I said earlier, I have not hopped a bird since 1988. I just haven't had a reason to. In 97, there was a potential for going to Austria and Germany with the group, but not enough members of the group could get time off at the same time. And so the only thing I had done to prep for that possible trip was I went to a Walgreens and had some pictures taken like one would use for a passport or an immigration document or a work badge or something like that, that you would need a picture card. So I done that, and then the library had a book and cassette series on learning German. So I checked that out. I had started flipping through the book, but I had not started to listen to the cassettes because I wanted to learn a little Deutsch just for the heck of it. But because we did not get to go, I returned that German language learning set back to the library before the due date. I think a week before the due date. And I just held on to those Walgreens pictures. I never used them for anything. And that was as far as I got. I never applied for a passport. And I don't know if I would have been approved for one anyway, so I just never bothered. And when I was in Mexico back in '86, we didn't need a passport back then. All we needed was something they call a tourist card and a birth certificate. So that's all I had to go down to Mexico for a month. And when we came back, we were told before we left the Guadalajara airport that in Dallas, when we were changed from Mexicana Airlines to, I think, Delta, to go from Dallas back to Little Rock. So we were told that they were stopping every 12th person in the customs line for an extra security check. Well, we had 13 in our party. We didn't see anyone in front of us get pulled aside. None of us did. And because I was in the back of the line, I didn't notice anyone behind me getting pulled aside. So either they were lax or they figured they would count. They somehow figured out we were a traveling party and they would figure us as one person for the security checks instead of pulling one of us, since we had 13 in our group. James, you're probably that. I'm sure that would be interesting to do that, but I would not do that now. In fact, as much as I would love to go back down to Mexico, I will not do it because of the increase in crime down there. The Big Nasty has not stopped the criminals. In fact, it's probably gotten worse. Baja is where they have that, I think it's called the Baja 1000. So they may have it again. Oh, there is CT in the house. I have nothing left but a few crumbs. I had lemon lime drink in my drinking jar. So I just have my coffee left. But this was my dinner tonight. So just been shooting the bull and missing. But that's okay. You know, when YouTube is done processing it, if you feel like catching the replay, you can. But the chicken burrito bowl, there was also the black beans and it was The sauce is kind of like a halfway in between a beef gravy and a chili sauce. And there's 2 hot sauce packets. The lime vinegar hot sauce in the white packet, plus a packet of Texas Pete. And I had never had the Texas Pete, so I used that one. And it had the Chipotle Tortillas, cheese spread with jalapenos. The Cheez-Its are pretty much busted up, but that's okay because I mixed them in. And the lemon poppy seed pound cake. It tasted good, but it was dry. You'd want to take a drink of something after every bite. But it was still a very, very enjoyable dinner. And I'm very grateful to some other YouTuber who passed it on to me. Yeah, I like it, but it's just dry and it needs a little something on it. I have never had a Butterburger. But would it be something I could make myself by just making up a beef patty and frying it in butter? Or do you put butter into the ground beef when you're forming the patty? Whether the coffee was coffee instant type 2. Oh yeah, that would be good. Well, I might have to do that. As I I haven't mentioned any restaurants, but I could. That's okay, Robert. You know, you can lurk. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some others lurking who just didn't drop a comment. But I might have to try making up some Butterburgers. And next time I pull a pack of ground beef out of the freezer. But Rob, this 1776 MRE chicken burrito bowl was my dinner. And the person who packed this stuffed this thing full. And that's probably why the Cheez-Its and the lemon poppy seed cake were a little damaged. But it was all good. It had an extra side there with the beans. The Chipotle Tortillas, a jalapeno cheese spread, and 2 different hot sauces, and I chose to use a Texas Pete because I had never tried that sauce before. But now that I've had it, I will buy it and add it to my preps. I have some other hot sauces, but I do not have a bottle of Texas Pete. So I will definitely buy that one in a future grocery run. Yeah, Papa John's pizza is not too bad, but I'd rather either have Casey's or Northern Lights pizza. Or even better yet, Fong's pizza. Fong's is a very unique place here in Des Moines. They do fusion pizzas. They're known for their Asian fusion. So you can get a crab rangoon pizza. And that one is my favorite. You can get other stuff besides pizzas. You can get your traditional pizzas, but you can also get their unique combinations. You wouldn't think would work well on a pizza, but they do. So next time CT comes to Des Moines, he's got to go to Fong's. Papa John's is it's not too bad for a pizza chain pizza. Well, CT, that was pretty close. But I don't get pizzas very often. I just do not choose to spend the money on pizzas a lot. Very, very infrequently, I will get pizza delivered. I just choose to spend my money on things that will be of longer term value. Or to pay a bill. But Casey's pizzas are very good. And some of them, if you go in there at the right time, you can get breakfast pizza. Well, Pete, you can always skip the anchovies. Yeah, I do agree on that. You get more, and if you get the right place at the right time when they're having a special, you get a pretty good deal. And if it's just you, or you and one other, you could have 2 or 3 meals out of what you get. And in the past, I have gotten an additional thing besides a pizza, but I would not eat it with the pizza. I would have it as a meal the next day. Yeah, some people like pineapple on pizza, some don't. I would definitely like it on a breakfast pizza. It would just have to be one without pork. So I would not get a pineapple ham pizza. I'd say, yeah, my half, pineapple, no ham. Yeah, Casey's is all over the middle part of the U.S. Even though their headquarters is here in Iowa. Flying J is one of the bigger truck stops here in central Iowa, and they have a lot of amenities there that truckers can take advantage of while they're doing time overnight there. Well, Carl is actually not all that far from me and Aletha. I have been through Joplin a few times. But that's just going through. We never stopped, maybe for gas. I think we stopped in Joplin once for gas on a trip south to Arkansas. And other than that, we've never actually spent a night there. Well, actually, you know what would be awesome, Carla? All of you who are in Missouri, you could have a Missouri YouTuber meetup. You know, Steve of Traversing Foods, he is in Arkansas. And Magnum, he is in Arkansas. Of course, got me and Aletha up here in Iowa. Yeah, because she comes to Des Moines every few months to take care of stuff here. She does not always come to see me when she's here. You know, she may not have time, but when she does have time, then we meet up. But Aletha does come to Des Moines every few months. But usually when we do meet up, we go to Zombie Burger. Yeah, John Multi-Magnum is his name. Yeah, he is. He hasn't done any videos recently, but yeah, I know for sure he is in Arkansas. And Steve of Traversing Food, he's in Arkansas. I don't know how close they are to each other. But Arkansas is not all that big of a state, so those two could get together and do a collab or something like that. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to check it out because, you know, how YouTube is, we don't get all the notifications for all the channels we're subscribed to. And with some of them changing their names, you don't know who is what anymore these days. Yeah, so, yeah, those three could get together easily since they're not all that close. But Aletha and I are going to do something. But that is all we're going to say. Art has shown construction updates on his Sleepy Dog construction channel. And he put up one yesterday showing the progress on this townhouse, or it almost looks like a row house, but they're not connected to the ones on either side of it. But that is where he and Nina are going to relocate to once it's finished, because it will give them more space. There is a room that will be specifically for a YouTube studio. And I'm sure they will have one space specifically to store the ration inventory. And hopefully it'll be a lot safer for deliveries. And I'm pretty sure they will have a security system put in. And with that type of an urban location, yeah, security system would definitely be a good thing. But since if, you know, well, don't dump resin on the eagle. It's got to be able to fly, you know. Yeah, porch virus, but he sure ticked one off, chasing him down, and got the box back. And the camera was rolling, so got it documented. Well, since a few more people are sliding out, I'll probably go ahead and call this one good. I would love to get back down to Missouri. I enjoyed the few times that I have been down there. What, I sound like a Nathan video, CT? Or someone else? But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. And I do want to thank you all for watching. And again, thanks to Art and or Nina for dropping that super chat. That's much appreciated. Who knows, that might get kicked back into their coffers next time I buy a ration or 3 from for an MRE. Who knows? But I will go back to a standard MRE next month, I should say. I'm not sure which one I'll do, but it'll probably be one of the beef ones. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, and catch you on the flip side.